一家公司除了卖产品赚钱，其实还可以光明正大的买股票收股息。说实话，就连我也是最近才搞懂这一点。我们来看看这家公司 Haw Par 虎标，就是那个你从小用到大的虎标万金油。他们可是一家新加坡的上市公司。打开他们最新的年终财报，你会看到一个傲人的数据：2024年税前利润居然高达2.4亿新币。可就当你以为这些都是辛辛苦苦卖药膏赚回来的时候，药膏的收益居然连3成都不到。真正赚钱的地方是他们的投资部门，哪怕他们什么都不做，光是收股息和投资收益，2024年就狂纳了1.76亿新币。这就意味着他们躺平赚的钱是他们站着干活赚的钱接近3倍。这就是为什么富人越来越有钱，而我们这些普通老板每天工作16个小时，却只赚点辛苦钱。这时你会问 Jin， 这是不是世界不公？难道这就是资本家的特权？错，这是因为从来没有人教会过我们，公司原来也可以这样子玩。今天我不讲那些表面的商业故事，我直接请来了我们最新的战略伙伴 EquitiesTracker 的 CEO Alvin Vong， 让他们用50年的数据告诉我们如何把你的公司从一个打工仔变成一个资本家。我们接着看。
Our company, we celebrate 50 years this year. So we've always been in the capital markets and investing and looking at companies to invest. So initially it was investing for ourselves. So we got our asset management license about 2 years ago. We had our customers say, hey, can you open company account? At that point, we didn't think much of it, but we kept getting back the same thing. Like entrepreneurs, I got more cash in my company than personal because I don't pay myself much. Then we kept saying, later, akan datang. Then it was like almost year plus. Really got to thank Madani government because they implemented e-invoicing. So we had entrepreneur customers who wanted to know what's all this about. So we had an event. So we invited a speaker on e-invoicing. They said, oh, by the way, you are also speaking. Can you share about investments? So at that point, it never kind of clicked, company and investments. But, one thing was my brother has always been talking about treasury. And then I got one investor who has done really well treasury, but somehow never clicked. Then suddenly it clicked. And we realized that this is a huge space that is so important, goes beyond personal investing because this is investing as a company, right? What would it look like? Of course, it's going to be very different from personal investing, right? We realized that, there were so many levels of treasury. I started talking to people who actually manage treasury in very large companies. We realized actually what we built as a platform, whether you use it for personal or for a company, actually it's the same thing. Is this how you use it? Like a hammer, you can use hammer for this. You can also use hammer for something else, right? So probably about slightly less than a year.
Less than a year.
Less than a year, yeah.
Okay. But I think it's definitely a solid demand in the market. Like I mentioned, I do have a couple of members, have idle cash sitting there, they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
This is the moment when they make like major mistakes.
Hey, it's funny you talk about this because my career, I'm 22 years already doing this, right? Large part of my career is actually I look at companies. I monitor companies. We call EquitiesTracker. So we track all listed companies. And we realize that there is a consistent pattern when companies make money, especially entrepreneur-led, don't say professional management. They somehow have this, they feel very good because they've made so much money, like continuous years. Then they start thinking that, hey, I'm so good at doing this. Let's do something else. I think I can be just as good, You see all kinds of crazy diversification. Doesn't make sense, right? I tell you, actually, 10 out of 10 times, they don't succeed.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So we see that pattern actually happen on the SME level as well.
2026, you guys turned 50.
Yeah.
So you started like 1976, right?
Exactly right.
Okay, my math should still
really
good.
good.
Wait, 1976, is Bursa even there yet?
Technically, Bursa was not there yet. It
Exactly.
used to be known as KLSE. And this was even before the birth of SGX, Singapore Stock Exchange, or even Securities Commission.
Back in the early days, right? Who will be an ideal customer of ET, man?
Actually, in the 90s, a lot of retail investors started coming in. So there was a major crash, 87. And of course, the next one, 1997. Back then, it was starting to get popular. No such thing as online trading. It is, you have to know a remisier. The remisier must agree to open an account for you. We were probably the earliest to start this. It was to use it for himself, for his own investing.
I understand.
Yeah. When Malaysia started booming.
Mm.
A lot of foreign funds started coming to Malaysia. And obviously, they were so used to investing with information and data that they were looking for suppliers.
Yeah, and ET became more and more relevant. 50 years later, and then we are here today to talk about different topic, right?
Yeah.
Can share with the crowd. Last week I just attended an event in ET, right?
Yes.
And before that, we actually signed like MOU and all for Treasury Management, but I still do not have a really clear concept on Treasury Management until you went on stage. You shared a really nice story about
Yeah.
airplane having 2 different engines, dual revenue engine for company lah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you shared a really good business case study using Haw Par.
Oh, yes.
So
yes.
Tiger Balm is actually a listed co in Singapore.
Yes, they are.
Prior to today's interview, right, I actually read their 2024 annual report.
Yeah.
So profit before tax, roughly about 246 billion. But then bulk of the profit actually comes from investment.
Yeah. Their profit from investment is 4 times larger than the existing business today.
Exactly. It's like,
Yeah.
I think I did the maths, it's about 70+%, 73% if not mistaken.
Yeah.
Instantly, my brain is not braining anymore. Because this doesn't make sense to me. Throughout all this time, right, I think bulk of Malaysian entrepreneurs, or 90% of them, including me,
Yeah.
only thought that company grows bigger through more sales and more revenue.
Yeah.
But here you are telling me that there's a listed cost sitting there. If the profit from investment is 4 times, it means that they can literally just sleep for the entire year. Next year, they will still have 100 millions of profit, bro.
Yeah.
This is
exactly right.
damn crazy.
It is. Part of my job analyzing companies. One of the first things that we look at, P&L, cash flow, balance sheet. 3, right? Because these are all reports that tell you how well you're doing, how rich you are, right? And whether you're backed by cash. So essentially, these are the 3 financial statements. So there's a whole industry built around it, right? We always see, even if you look at books today on businesses or podcasts, there's a lot of focus, increase sales, branding, marketing, reduce costs.
Yeah.
So all this actually is reflected in the P&L.
Yep.
And of course the cash flow as well, how fast you collect your cash and all, right? So I'd say 99.9% of entrepreneurs spend 99.9% of the time looking at how to grow their P&L and the cash flow.
Yep.
But they actually forget there's this thing called balance sheet, right?
Because they are not even aware that this thing can generate income in the first place.
The idea for a business is, hey, you know what? Just sell more things, be more innovative. When I speak to a lot of entrepreneurs and CEOs, I actually realize that they have a lot of strategies for P&L and cash flow. They actually have no strategy for the balance sheet. Actually, your balance sheet can also become something that generates you income as well. Not revenue. So there's a little line called other income. Very simple example. I find a lot of companies, by accident, it wasn't a strategy. After running a business for 30 years, they're like, oh, I own this property, I own that property because I need it for my warehousing or manufacturing or whatever it is, right? Then they're like, oh, we don't need it anymore, so we rent it all. So that one generates income for them. But actually, if you have a proper balance sheet strategy, which we've seen from Haw Par's example, they generate 180 million from their balance sheet today with no staff, basically.
Right? Crazy.
It's crazy, right? But actually, your balance sheet can be weaponized. It's basically a second tool that you can use to actually also grow a business.
All right.
Right?
That's exactly what you guys are offering in ET, right?
That's our main focus right now because we realize that there are a lot of entrepreneurs who are not aware. They're very smart, but they're just unaware. So we want to just kind of bring this up. By the way, guys, you work very, very hard here. Someone also needs to do some work here as well, right? It cannot be completely zero, right? So that's where we kind of educate and say, look, there are very basic strategies you can start with. If you just want to dip your toes in, like no money down, kind of, change some processes in your business, you can actually generate some income, a very safe income. Of course, depending on the growth of your business, where you're at, how much capex you need, how much loans you have. So everyone's balance sheet is very different. At ET, what we can do is actually look at your balance sheet and say, hey, you know what? These are probably things that you can do. A few tweaks, suddenly you just start squeezing money. So imagine it's like an orange, right? Never been squeezed before.
Yeah.
First time you squeeze, sure got juice one. That's just really our focus, especially for entrepreneurs. The other thing also we realize for entrepreneurs is that actually they don't realize they have 2 balance sheets. They have their personal balance sheet and they have their company balance sheet. And too often we find that entrepreneur thinks that company balance sheet is theirs. Their own balance sheet is also theirs. True. We always say, look, there should be a clear demarcation because your company balance sheet is for just in case anything happens to your business. That's your protection layer. Your personal balance sheet is for your own protection layer, right? But which is more important? If you're deriving most of your income from your business, actually your company balance sheet is the most important one, right? True. Because that's the one, that's a golden goose that keeps laying eggs, right? That's the concept.
give me the most basic example, right? A company can generate income from balance sheet.
A company can generate income every single day. They've got cash coming to the bank account every day, right? Depending on the type of business. For personal or employee, only once a month, that you get paid lah. Even if you own a company, you pay yourself maybe once a month, right? That's standard. What happens is that we find that there's typically most SMEs will have cash sitting in their current account.
Now, even I also got money sitting there.
Just sitting there,
Just sitting there.
right? And it earns you nothing.
Yep.
Let's say I met some companies that say, actually, we don't have a payment schedule, or invoice come, then we pay. So it's not a very disciplined approach. So we say, you know what, can you fix your payouts to only once a month? So which means that for 30 days or 28 days in a month, your money is sitting there or money is accumulating, it's not generating any yield. You know you only have one payment out a month, so you already know where your expenses are, right? You can typically just put into money markets, right? Money markets is very old products, been around for a long time. Is people always ask me, is it safe? So well, we lend it back to the banks, right? So a lot of banks borrow overnight money, right? It's liquid. That means if you want to take it out 24 hours, right? And they give you a yield higher than your standard 1 year lock-in FD board rate. So it's liquid, you get yield, may not be a lot, but depending on your business, right? I had a customer every year also balance roughly about 2 million, for example. He managed to squeeze out another 50K a year just by changing that process.
Exactly. Can
Right.
be 2 months rental already.
Pays for something, right? People always think about, everything cost increasing. But I think there's a lot of balance sheet that can be tweaked. Yeah.
So let's say if I have 100,000, I mean, just for the ease of maths.
Yep.
I just put into a money market funds. I can get like 2%, 2 plus.
2 plus, maybe $200 extra, $200 a month, right?
So it's like extra money by doing nothing, just by tweaking processes.
Just change for that. Yeah.
But the thing is, since I have you here today, right, I also want to ask a lot of those addressing the elephant in the room. You know, a lot of people say that there's a lot of scams in Malaysia nowadays, which I agree.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of gurus who come out, tell you to put your money here and there.
Yeah.
So how do we know if this is legit or not?
Very good question. For us, so we are listed on Bursa, number one. So you always check, always have third-party checks.
Lead market, right?
Yeah, we're listed on the lead market. We are also licensed by the Securities Commission of Malaysia as a CMSL holder, so Capital Market Services License holder. So there's a difference between a registration and a license.
Yep.
Right, so we are licensed. Our whole process took us from start to finish almost 4 years. Right, so it was pretty grueling. We also get audited by the SC as well, apart from our usual audits that we have to do. So you can always go to their website to check. On top of that, there are additional safeguards for companies like us. We are not your typical bank where you put money. How our customers are safeguarded is that monies are all put in a trustee. And so let's say, Jin, you would be the beneficiary, right, from the trustee. So we don't actually have access to that cash as well. So in a way, it's been designed, right? In the US, they call this bankruptcy remote, but it's been designed where the person managing it does not hold the assets. And the trustee opens an account with a licensed bank in Malaysia as well, right? So all this is, there's a lot of regulation.
Understood. Yeah, there's a lot of check and balance mechanism in place.
Correct.
So it's like, then in that case, ET is more like a fund manager, right? Would you say that's true?
We are a licensed fund manager. So we have 2 licenses, one with SC Malaysia, and offshore we have it through Labuan as well.
What we can do with ET is like, if I express my interest in all these money market funds, I want to make use of all those cash just sitting there, right?
Yeah.
So what's the process, right? I just open an account with you guys.
That process is quite similar to opening a trading account or a bank account, right? Of course, we'll need your Form 49 and all the stuff, basic stuff. We open your account within 2 weeks. If all paperwork's in order, basically you get a account number from us, which is unique for you. And that becomes your account number that you can bank in. And you log into our portal, you can see our balances also.
Okay, then the next critical question is, who owns that account?
So today, do you use Touch and Go?
Yeah, I do.
Normal, right? I mean, all Malaysians use Touch and Go. So where does that money sit?
In Touch and Go's account.
Okay. Well, actually, technically it doesn't. It sits in a trustee account.
Okay, interesting.
So if anything happens to Touch and Go, the trustee owns all the. It's a legal owner, but you are the beneficiary.
Understood.
That's how it works, right? We run the same thing as well. So the legal owner is a trustee. Of course, we can't just use any trustee. So in Malaysia, trustees are governed by SSM or CCM lah. If the trustee were to provide services, trustee services to CMSL holders like us, they also need to be registered and pass through all the checks with SC before they can offer services. So there's only a list of trustees we can use. We can't use any trustee lah.
Understood. Why those licensed bank need to work with all these trustees is also because it's an additional layer of check and
They're all basically independent almost, right? So the trustee will open an account, let's say with Maybank, and the money goes into Maybank's account, which is held by the trustee.
understood.
So we can't go in there, do withdrawals and that kind of thing.
Understood.
Yeah.
So if anything happens to, let's say, Maybank, the money is still with the trustee.
Well, if anything happens to Maybank, then if you have a personal account with Maybank, also the same thing will happen, right? That's really what it is, lah. It's not riskier, nor is it less risk. Actually, it's the same. Not just to ET, but any fund manager in town, the regulation states that we have to use the same structure.
Let's talk a bit more about the products of ET, right? When it comes to treasury management.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe probably our most introductory product that everyone can really start, especially companies, is your regular money market account, right? A lot of companies, first thing we explain to them that when it comes to treasury, there's short-term treasury and there's long-term treasury. Two very different objectives, all right? Short-term means that you need it fast and it's used for your daily business, like rental lah, salary lah, pay your suppliers lah, right?
It's like if I want to pay my payroll tomorrow, then I take the money out, I pay already, then I put back in.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, correct. Basically, that's it. Yeah. Correct. Or you only withdraw what you need for payroll.
Exactly.
That's it. Then you just keep running. Okay, so then long-term treasury is actually to build resilience in your balance sheet. So we find that most entrepreneurs say, hey, why should I invest in something lower risk and low yielding? I invest in your business better, right? Definitely better, right? Because you run the business, you are the expert in the business, you know the niche, you know the customers and so forth. But what we're trying to explain is that risk is diversification of lowering your risk. So if you have 10 eggs, 9 eggs go back in your business. Just think of putting one aside every month, kind of like your EPF kind of concept, and put it into something lower risk, but higher than FD. Why? Because you're taking risk here, you don't want to be taking the same amount of risk on the balance sheet as well, right?
Because you never know what is going to happen with the economy and market, man.
You don't know, man. This morning, when I was on the way here, a video popped up. The chairman of Bayan Tree, he said, you know what, the hotel business is probably one of the most risky business because there is pandemic, they get affected. There's war, they get affected. Nothing you can do. I mean, no matter how fantastically you run your business, right? These are all external factors, right? Now, actually, if you really think about it, it doesn't affect only hotels. All of us as business owners, exactly the same thing. There are stuff that we cannot control. It's very clear when we see new companies that are doing really well, they never think about this.
Yeah.
And when they hit that dip moment, they're like, oh yeah, actually I'm not invincible, right? And he said that, it's all about building resilience, right? And thinking long term. They've been around for so long, right? Obviously, so really, if you think about it, reading between the lines, he definitely has a balance sheet strategy because hospitality was hit hardest during COVID, right? A lot did not survive, right? Actually, we come down to it, survivability, right? At the end of it, summarized, actually, it's balance sheet management. This is where long-term balance sheet is. You put something aside every month, but if something external does happen, you're ready to deploy that. That is your safety net. Like your two engines, so suddenly one engine might shut off. At least this engine is still running to keep the business running.
That's a metaphor that you share.
But
all this while, right, you have been sharing that, balance sheet strategy. From what I hear, it's more like a shield. But can it also act like a sword?
Yes.
Can I be a bit more aggressive on it?
You can be definitely aggressive. So when we talk about risk, let's talk about risk, right? So risk is all your hard-earned capital you use and you risk it. I flip it the other way around. I say, look, you change some processes, suddenly you're earning a few $1,000 from money markets, which you never had anyway in the first place.
Yeah, this is like low risk play.
Low risk, but you just change process, now you got money already. Can you put that into something high risk with better returns? Potentially, right? Because that was money that you never had in the first place, right? So it's like an egg that grow more eggs. So then you take that and you can put it into something high risk or high yielding, right? It never hit me because it's so simple, right? Yes. I mean, it's for those in the industry, it's simple. But for those outside, like you brought up, actually, you're right. In fact, if you think about the oldest, probably a very famous company that does this, is actually Warren Buffett's company, or Berkshire Hathaway. His business is investing. The beauty about investing through a company is this, right? Technically, a company is an entity, is an individual, right? Both of us here have a biological lifespan, but your company has no biological lifespan and go for the next 100 years.
True.
And if you look at the Haw Par's example, because it took them 70 years to build where they are today, they make 180 million just from dividends alone, right? Owning UOB. Their business is recession-proof, COVID-proof, any proof. Even if the whole world stops using Tiger Bomb, they have enough cash to find a pivot to move to.
Yep.
Right? So it's about building resilience, right?
So on the topic of building resilience, right, I think every business owners will have different preference when it comes to strategy. So are you saying that at least, I mean, one takeaway they can get from today's podcast is start to look at where is your cash sitting at lah.
Let's say the money earned from interest, it was not meant to be yours anyway, right? Then you don't spend it, put it into a long-term treasury.
All right, cool.
Right? I mean, that's the whole idea, right?
Yeah. A lot of people might not know that we are currently partners. No, I realize this, right? A lot of business owners, they focus too much on sales, revenue and all. And till one point, I don't think it's healthy anymore. Because the thing with business is not like the more you invest into it, the more it can generate. Theoretically, yes, but you also need the processes and
Scaling people.
the people that knows how to scale to make this worthwhile.
Correct.
Because if not, you are like adding 10 liters of fuel, but you only get 1 km extra.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you are at a point where you no longer know what you want to do with the cash, please don't be like some of the members that come to me, say you want to venture into a different business or open a physical shop, because I feel like those are high risk.
Yes.
It's a territory that is unknown to you.
Correct.
So why not you just, like what Alvin said, right? Put it in some business that is solid,
Correct.
like banks,
Yeah.
and then just generate some
Just generate yield.
dividend from it.
So effectively, even if your business is small, the thing about it, Haw Par was a small company. It was a small Sandra Mahat when they started, right?
Yep.
I mean, they're a massive powerhouse today. They are so wealthy. I mean, just the equity, it's a stock portfolio is worth 3.1 billion Sing dollars. Sing dollars, right? This is excluding the property, right? But they did it over 70, 80 years. So of course we cannot expect it to happen tomorrow. But
True.
really, if say you're only generating, say 1, 2 million, 3 million profit a year, and you said, I don't want to grow so much. The idea maybe not just to grow so much, right? Like you said, they are limited, right? How much you can grow. But you say 3 million over 10 years, is 30 million. No? So 30 million, if you can manage that well, can it become 60?
It can become
Maybe
more.
100, right? When you take some of these profits and be disciplined about it and build a massive asset base, basically your company is forever already. That's really it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you just have that feel that to keep going.
Just to keep going is resilience, right?
Yeah, doesn't matter if it comes from the business or from other people's business.
Correct.
Exactly. All right. So I think that's pretty much it, man. Thanks for sharing all this info with us. Like for those people that don't know, recently I just got my EMA license as well. So for those crowd that are really interested to explore what ET is doing, I think in the future, Alvin will be organizing a couple of events together.
Yeah.
They can definitely drop by ET's office in PJ.
Sure, yeah.
To learn more.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, you can also chat with me to, just to see what's up with your balance sheet strategy. Like what Alvin said, it's something so logical, so people often just sweep it under the carpet.
Right.
But, just with a slight tweak, maybe you can lengthen your runway by 1 to 2 months. And that's huge, man. Because in extreme times like pandemic, it could mean life and death, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, companies closed down during COVID not because their business wasn't good,
True.
or they didn't have a good business model, or they just didn't have balance sheet resilience.
They just ran out of oxygen.
That's it all. Yeah.
So, Alvin, do you have any final thing that you want to share?
I hope this podcast reaches out to business owners or entrepreneurs to think differently about managing their business over the long term. And we hope we can be a partner to them over the long term.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, man, Harry. For those guys interested, drop by for the events, or I can also leave your colleagues' contact details at the bottom. Feel free to contact them.
Just drop us a connect. Yeah, drop us a line. Then we can have a obligation-free call just to have a look and answer your business. If you can do it, we'll tell you we can do it. We can't, we may have someone else who can do it. Don't worry.
All right. Thanks for dropping by.
All right. Thanks, Jin. Thanks for having me. Yeah.